Alright, welcome back to this tutorial series on first-person shooters. In the last video we covered making a saving feature. If you take a look at the map here that we have before us, we have a nice little checkpoint right over here. When we cross that, it'll actually save our checkpoints and it'll actually deal with all that for us. A real quick thing from the last video that I don't know if people picked up on, but I did during the break. When you shoot this wall, the balls bounce off of it. So to fix that, you just go up under your blueprints, wherever your projectile that you're firing is, and then make sure under collision components, set your collision type to custom, and make sure you ignore world static and world dynamic. That way it'll go right through that wall there, and you won't have to worry about anything. Okay. Now, the next thing that we want to look at, though, is respawning our character if we die. How are we going to handle that, and what kind of situations what are we going to respawn with? Well, the answer to that is we want to be able to respawn with whatever values we had based on our last save. So when we start a brand new game, if we were to die in this first room here, we would have our max ammo, our max health, we would have all that fun stuff. But when we cross this checkpoint, let's say we may have half health from jumping off the cliff here, or half of our ammunition, half of our maximum ammunition, whatever the case may be when we cross that. So when we die in the second half over here and we respawn, we actually want to respawn with the new values that we had saved. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, the things we're going to need open for this are we're going to need the game mode, we're going to need our first person character, and we'll actually need to open up the save checkpoint thing that we had created in the last video, which controls this checkpoint right here. The other thing that we need is we need our saved variables. Now within the saved variables, I added a new variable. It's called new level. The only thing that this variable is going to help determine is whether we spawn at the player start or from the actual checkpoints. That's the only thing it's going to help control. Alright, so go ahead and make that. And the checkpoint, and the save checkpoint thing, you want to come to where on the true line where we made all of the stuff we're saving based off of a checkpoint. And then we want to drag off of the save node, just drag right off of it here. We want to set that new level, and then we want to set it to false, because I have it by default set to true, so that we can start off with it being true and just go on through all of our stuff. Okay. So we can go ahead and close that out now. Now, we want to first work in game mode. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do an event begin play. Alright. Now with that event, we're going to drag off of it. We are going to cast to our first person character. Off of the object, we're going to get player. This is all starting to seem a little redundant. You just do it over and over and over, and unfortunately you do it over and over and over. So off of the get node from that, we're going to do bind event on destroy. There it is, to on destroy. Okay, go ahead and connect up the executes. Now what this is going to do is this is going to start the game, and we're going to wait until the player dies. When the player is destroyed, we want to run an event. So we're going to get a custom event. Open up custom event. We're going to call this on destroyed underscore event, and we're going to connect it. Okay, you can name it whatever you want. On destroyed, however, is actually taken by the bind event stuff, so you can't actually name it on destroyed. So I just put underscore event, so I know it's an on destroyed event. Now from here is where we would put such messages as, you know, bam, you're dead, please click this to respawn, or hit this to respawn, or do that to respawn, and then we would respawn the character. So we're going to actually just for now add a delay, give it a nice little 2-second delay in there. So change that to a 2. Remember, this duration is in seconds. So if you did 0.1, that'd be milliseconds. If you did 60, that'd be a minute. Then, you know, whatever up from there. You get the drift. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to actually go in and do two things. We need to create, first off, we need to create a branch and just set it there. Between the two branches, we need to find out if a save game exists. Okay. We need to connect up these two values. Save slot is save underscore 001. Okay. We need, if it doesn't, if there is no save game, then we just simply want to spawn, not an emitter, spawn actor from class. We want to spawn our first person character. And I already made this variable here because I did some testing earlier, and I went ahead and made it. So you just click on your add variables. This is a transform variable. All right, so we just drag it over and connect it to that. Okay. Now, if we do have a saved file, we need to actually look at something. We need to first off load game from slot. Right, and what slot that is save underscore 001. We need to then cast to our saved values. And then from here we need to do another boolean. Or not boolean, but a branch. But we are going to use the boolean that we had made, the new level, to find out what we do here. So if new level is true, okay, then we are simply going to Control C, Control V, and we're going to spawn the actor. If it's not true, then we're actually going to do a couple of different things here. The first thing we're going to do is actually drag off of this, and we're going to get the checkpoint. We want to make the checkpoint a transform. Alright. And then we're going to copy this, paste it here. We're going to connect those two up, connect that up. Alright. But this isn't all we have to do. Once we've got it spawning, but now we're not taking control of it. So we actually need to drag off of this, and we need to do a possess. Now you'll see that it doesn't pop up at first here, so you just uncheck the context sensitive box, and there it is. And then we can connect that up to that as well. Or no, we cannot. Okay. So we need to make one of these for each one of these spawn, because we can't link the spawn nodes to the actual stuff. But we can take and get player controller. Give it a minute for that to load up and show us that we've typed something. Select get player controller, and this we can actually connect to both of those. Now the other thing we need to do is we need to put that here, so we need to connect up all of these. Get player I think my video card's going out. That's why some of my stuff is going so slow. Alright, so now that we have all of those in place, the next thing that we need to do is we need to make it come back up here and refire all of this when we die. Now we can't keep using the event begin play, because once the game is started, the game mode is initiated. There is no stopping the game mode. There is no beginning play of it again until you close out your game and you reopen your game. So we need to actually have another custom event. This is going to be called respawn. Okay, apparently it's not. So respawn underscore event. Alright. So now what this is going to say is, when we're done doing all of these, whichever branch we actually go off of, alright, we need to come up here. So all we're going to do is we're just going to drag off of this, and we're going to type in respawn event. Go ahead and copy that. Let the autosave interrupt me. So now, that takes care of everything that we need to do within the game mode. Okay, we're not going to actually load our values for like health, ammo, and all that here. All this is dealing with is where are we going to respawn the character at. Alright, so now we can go ahead and actually close out of that. I think, hold on one second, let's see. Yeah, we can close out of that. Alright, now we need the first person character blueprint. We're going to do an event begin play. Okay. Now we're going to do something pretty similar to this as we did in the last one. We're going to do a does save game exist. Alright. We're looking for save underscore 001. We need a branch. Now, if the save game doesn't exist, let's slide this over here because we're going to go ahead and do this cast so we don't have to do it multiple times. So we're going to cast to first person game mode. Okay. The object of the cast is the get beam mode. Alright. And then I'm going to cast this to a variable just so that we can call it later if we need it. Which we will because we have to do some calling of the thing. And we're going to call this game mode. Alright. Drag these back over there so they're nice and neat looking. Alright, now the next thing that we need to do is we need to figure out what are we going to be respawning, what are we not going to be respawning, all that. So we check to see if a save game does exist. If it exists, we're going to do something. If it doesn't, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our game mode here, we're going to get it, and we're going to set spawn transform to our actor transform. So what that's going to do is it's going to, for our spawn location, it's going to get our location, our rotation, like if we're facing 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270, 290, however which way we're facing, and it's going to also get our scale. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to come up here and off of true. We need to do a load game from slot. And the slot is going to be the same thing, save underscore 001. Okay. We need to cast to saved values. We need to promote this to a variable. We're just going to call it saves. Now, off of that, we need to know, is it a new level? Okay. If it is a new level, then we want to just do a simple setup of this down here. So we just copy all of this again and paste and hook that up there. But if it's not a new level, okay, well, what do we want it to reload? Well, what do we want it to load? Well, we want it to set we want it to set some variables for us. Okay. So we could actually look and do a couple other things. In fact, we're actually going to just take this and slide it on down here because we don't need it right now. I'm getting ahead of myself. My apologies. We'll connect those two there. Okay. So what we're going to do is we actually have to get, and we have to get health. We have to get max health. We have to get ammo. We have to get max ammo. Now you may have other things that you have to get here. In our case, we just have 4 simple variable values that we need to get. And then we just drag out their corresponding stuff here and we do sets on them. So set that, set that, set that, and set that. And we connect all these up. And then we take this here, drag it back, and we go there. Okay. Now the reason we did it like this is because if there is no saved game, we have no values to pull. So we just simply set the spawn locator and the game will take care of the rest for us. However, if we do have a location, okay, if we do have a save game, not location, but if we do have a save game, well, we need to cast the values, we need to load the game, we need to cast those values into our saved variables, then we need to take those variables and we need to set them to our players' stats for our ammos and our health, and then we need to set this here up. Actually, hold on one second. I don't think I need to do that. But we'll see if that works. Actually, I think that'll work. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save that, compile. We're going to go in here to play. Actually, we're not. We're going to add one more thing to the character. Because right now we have no actual way of dying. So we're just going to make a function, a key press function, and we're going to destroy actor. Okay. Go ahead and compile and save. So now if I play from up here, and I hit the F key, 1, 2, and now I respawn. If I jump off down here, notice how I lost health. I'm firing my weapon. I've reloaded, firing my weapon, reloaded some more, and now I'm dead again. I respawn. I'm still at max health. I'm still at max ammo and all, because that's how we started the level. All right. Now let's see if the checkpoint part works. Whoops, hit the wrong key too early. Alright, so now we're going to jump on down here. Now I don't want to pick any of these up, so I'm going to kind of hug the wall over here. Alright, now we're going to cross. Now note, I have 1462 and about 75 health. We cross, we hit the checkpoint. Let's walk over here. Let's stand here. We hit the F key, we die, we count to 2, we respawn. We have 14 out of 62 health. We have about 75% of our health bar. 14 to 62 ammo, my apologies, not health. And we did not respawn up there, we actually respawned down here. Now if we come over here and we fire some more stuff, we've got a bad guy, we're fighting it, and we die again, we still respawn with the 1462, because that is the information we last had when we crossed this path. Now one thing I am going to point out right now that is in the way the script is currently running is we can actually fire this and we just keep on firing. So now we have 15 out of 29, and I can cross over this again, and you notice we fired the checkpoint again. So if I hit F, then you notice now we have 15 out of 29. That's working as intended, but if that's not what you want, which in my case I actually don't, I only want that to fire once, all you have to do is take your checkpoint section, drag it out, off of your true node, do a do once. Okay? You don't want do once multiple input, just do once. And then once you do that, pile, save, play the game. Okay, notice we started up on top. You know, we did start a new game, but we started up on top. And we haven't lost any health. We're going to go through here. Whoops, I hit the F key. I really need to use a different... Well, see, we hit the F key and we respawned here. I'll show you how to fix that here in a minute. Okay, so we go through here. We're firing, we're firing, we're firing. We crack our checkpoint once. We keep firing, we keep firing. We go to walk back through it. It doesn't fire again. We hit F, we die. we're back with the 13 out of 14. Okay, that we originally walked through it with. So that is that, and in the next video I'm going to actually show you how to fix the loading of the game when you do die in here. You don't actually respawn over here because the save game is actually in effect, but you actually will change over to this over here. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video.